Good day, everyone. Good day, Miss. I am Stephanie Yusol, the first reporter of the Group 2. So we are tasked to discuss a world of regions. So we have here first the Asian regionalism. So there are many regions in the world where regionalism can be observed. Asia is among these regions where regional cooperation is emergent and becoming more influential. So this means that Asia is a place where countries are starting to cooperate more, and this teamwork becoming more important. So Hernandez 1996 mentioned specific trends which necessitate regional cooperation in the Asia Pacific region. So according to Hernandez, the reason of this regional cooperation is to solve or to address various problems so specifically we have here the security challenges. So from the word itself, now it talks about security. Ecological breakdown, so it talks about the environmental issues. Demands for human resources, labor migration, so it talks about the workers. International terrorism, so it is a crime. Epidemics, so it talks about the spread of diseases, and drug trafficking. So it talks about also a crime. So those are the issues faced in this part of the world phenomena which demands multilateral response. So when I say multilateral response, this means that these problems can only effectively address through the coordinated efforts of the multiple countries. So Asia is the largest and most populated continent in the world. Geographically, it is separated from the European continent by the Urals, from Africa by the Suez Canal, from the North America by the Bering Strait. So as a continent, it is comprised of distinct regions such as Central Asia, East Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. So those are the regions na ga-collaborate or ga-work together to solve or address whatever the problems or issues.
Hello everyone, bright morning. I am Daphne Incipido. So Asian regionalism. Asia has been the cradle of several ancient civilizations. So when we say cradle, it is the birthplace or region. So Asia has been the birthplace or region of several ancient civilizations such as Chinese and Indian civilizations. So these ancient civilizations developed science, art, trade, and philosophies that shapes human history. So Asia has also been the home of influential cultural, philosophical, and religious movements. Hinduism, Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism, and other Oriental philosophies and religions generally originated from Asia countries and have been proliferated or spread around the globe. So for example, sa Christianity, diba, Christianity began in Jerusalem. And then Jerusalem is part of Asia. So from there, Christianity spread to Europe, specifically sa Spain. And then in Spain naman, gispread na niya sa Philippines during Spanish colonization in the 1500s. And because of that, Christianity became the largest religions not just in Asia but around the world, influencing people's belief, values, and culture. So in the contemporary world or modern world, Asia has become an economic force characterized by reduced poverty and fast-paced economic development. So with countries like Japan, China, South Korea, and India becoming world leaders in advanced technology, industry, and trade. And then, second one is dynamics of Asian regionalism. So factors which are influential in the growing Asian integration according to Kuroda. So the first one we have is enhanced dialogue between citizens of various nations. So enhanced dialogue or increased interactions or communications between people or between citizens of various nations. So this is facilitated by the growing tourism activities. So growing tourism activities where you can visit to other Asian countries to try their or to experience their cultures and traditions, and also to interact with the people there. So, growing tourism activities in the regions and the consistent multilateral meetings among leaders of nation states. So, multilateral meetings, for example, uh, government leaders of the Philippines and Korea. So, they are meeting to discuss on how they will improve their or how they can improve their countries. So, because of that meetings or because of that interactions, they can build friendship, cooperation, understanding, and they can strengthen their connections between their countries. So, making it easier to work together for peace, progress, and development.
Bright morning, everyone. My name is Ran Rhea Gonzaga, and this is the continuation of the several factors that influence the growing Asian integration according to Kuroda. So let's proceed to the number 2. Number 2, which is the expanding intra-regional trade and investments. So this means that Asian countries trade goods, services, and build businesses together to help their economy grow together and depend on one another. So just like for example, China exports electronics to the Philippines, diba? China is known for their electronics. So gina-imports or gina-exports na nila ang ilang mga electronics diri sa Philippines. That's why ang mga gakakita ta ang aton mga appliances, diba? All na sila or kalabanan sa ila from the Philippines. While the Philippines exports bananas and pineapples to Japan. So, diba, the Philippines are rich in goods just like bananas, pineapples, and coconuts. So, gina-exports na dito sa Japan. And Japan companies invest in the factories in Thailand. So, this example shows the cooperation through trade and investments among Asian countries. At na lang gawin number 3. So now let's proceed to the last factor, which is the increased connectivity. So first, what is connectivity? Connectivity refers to the state of being connected or how well the Asian countries connected to each other. So this involves improving connections among Asian countries. Asian countries are building more roads, bridges, airports, and digital networks to connect with one another. Just like, for example, the Asian Highway Networks. So, Asian Highway Networks connect countries like Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam by roads for easier and faster trade. Just like, for example, if magdulong goods ang Malaysia pakato sa Thailand, pwede na nila ma-travel by roads for easier and faster delivery of their goods. So, new airports and direct flight linked to Manila to Tokyo, just like for example. So, if halin ka sa Philippines or halin ka sa Manila, makadto ka sa Tokyo, wala na stopover, kay dire-diretso na ang flight. Unlike before nga mahapit pa da sa from Manila to Hong Kong to Tokyo. Now, let's proceed to Asian Regional Cooperations. What is Asian Regional Cooperations? So, it is an organization or partnership that promote unity and development among Asian countries. So, first is the APEC or the Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation. So, it is a group of countries around Pacific that work together to improve trade, business, and economic growth. Example, Philippines, Japan, and US are all members. They work together to reduce taxes on imported goods and improve business opportunities. So next is the EAS or the East Asian Summit. So what is East Asian Summit? So it is a meeting of leaders from Asian and near countries to talk about peace, security, and development. So just like for example, EAS or the East Asian Summit discussed big issues like climate change, disaster, and regional safety. So they meet every year to talk about common problems and plan on how to solve it. Next is the APC or the Asia Pacific Community. APC or the Asia Pacific Community is a proposed group that aims to bring Asia Pacific countries to closer together politically, economically, and socially. Examples: sharing ideas and helping each others. Next is the EAC or the East Asian Community. So what is an East Asian Community? So it is a vision to create a community where East Asian countries work together in economy, politics, and culture. So next is the ASEAN or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So what is ASEAN? It is a group of 10 Asian countries that work together for peace, unity, and progress. They help each other in trade, education, and disaster response. So the members of ASEAN are the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, Brunei, Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar. So, ASEAN composed of 10 Asian countries. Very good. So, last is the APT or ASEAN plus 3. So, what is an ASEAN plus 3? It is a cooperation among ASEAN and 3 other countries. So, what are those 3 other countries? And these are the China, Japan, and South Korea. China, Japan, and South Korea is part of an East Asian countries.
Bright morning, everyone. Now let's proceed to ASEAN. ASEAN was officially formed on August 8, 1967 with 5 founding members, which are Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. Later on, 5 more countries joined ASEAN. First, we have the Brunei Darussalam, joined on January 7, 1984. Soon after gaining independence, Vietnam became a member on July 28, 1995, together with Laos PDR joined on July 23, 1997, and also Myanmar joined on July 23, 1997, the same day as Laos. Then the last is Cambodia became the last to join on April 30, 1999.
So, bright morning, everyone. So, another thing that we will discuss is the aims and purposes of ASEAN. But before that, let us tackle or review what is ASEAN. So, ASEAN is like a big team that is made up of 10 countries in Southeast Asia. So, they all work together to help each other grow and stay peaceful. So, now we will proceed to the aims and purposes of ASEAN. So when ASEAN started in 1965, they set 2 main goals or like rules para sa ila club. So first is to accelerate the economic growth, social progress, and cultural development in the region through joint endeavors. So to make the story short, ASEAN was built to make each other country member grow together. They want to ensure everybody's economy, including the jobs, the trade, and the money, is good and that society and culture are developing. So, ang ASEAN was built for the economy of each other or other countries to develop and be successful. So, they work together to make it easier for countries to sell products to each other. So, example, kung ang isa ka countries gusto nila or masell sila products such as fruits to other countries, so the ASEAN makes sure that those certain products can easily be sold to other countries. And another thing is that to promote regional peace and stability through abiding respect for justice and the rule of law. So, another aim ng ASEAN is to keep the peace. So, sometimes, di ginaton malikayan, di ba nga may mga may mga sudden misunderstandings with other countries or sa other nga lugar. So, for example, ang natabo ligad sa Israel kag Iran, as well as ang nagligad pud nga natabo sa Russia kag sa Ukraine. So, sometimes ang misunderstanding sang kada country leads to gamo. So, 'di ba? Kung may war ang other countries, so gamugit kayo ang kada isa. So, ang ASEAN was built for each countries to be stable and peaceful by respecting their laws as well as respecting other countries. So, amo to gihambal ko gagina, if both parties or countries member has a small disagreement, they will talk it out politely and fairly, like good neighbors instead of fighting. So, instead nga mag-away sila, maghimo sila sang war, so the ASEAN helps the other countries or each countries to easily resolve the conflict with each other. So, next is the ASEAN flag. In the ASEAN logo, the 10 stalks or paddy rice represents the 10 Southeast Asian countries bound together in solidarity and friendship. The circle symbolizes the unity of the ASEAN. Not only ang countries ang may flag, but also their clubs, which is the ASEAN. So this flag is like their club's badge, wherein ang everything nga naa sa flag may own nga meaning. So first is ang the 10 stalks of paddy rice. O 10 stalks of paddy or ang rice. So that yellow thing on the flag, that is the stalks nga ginatawag or pareha siya sa rice. So it is a very important food ang Asia. It is a very important food in Asia. They represents the 10 member countries who are tied together in friendship and unity. So next is the blue circle. The circle that holds the stalks together symbolizes the unity of the entire Asian group. And we also have the 3 pillars of the ASEAN. First is the political, security, the economic, and the socio-cultural. So in order for the ASEAN to achieve their goals, the focus is on the 3 main areas or what we call the pillars. So first is the political security. So this pillar is all about keeping the region safe and secure. So example, we have experienced different wars with other countries, diba? It is very common naman. So talking to each other regularly prevents wars, deals with problems like illegal drugs, or work together during natural disasters. So next pillar is the economic. So this pillar naman is focuses on making the region a better place to do business and also to do trade, making it easier and cheaper for tourists and businesses to travel and sell things across the 10 countries. And lastly, ang socio-cultural. So this third pillar is all about improving the lives of the people and celebrating the different cultures, such as running programs to improve also their education and help women and children or hold events that share the different types of food, music, and traditionals from the 10 countries. That's all.
Bright morning, everyone. My name is Maria Antonia Hachanova, and today we are going to discuss about the ASEAN integration. So first, let's understand what integration means. Integration is a pathway toward unification in various spheres, like political, economic, and social aspects. Some theorists suggest that integration is made possible by certain conditions such as increased level of social interaction and shared ideological patterns amidst a diverse society experiencing fast-paced economic growth. So, integration is basically the process of uniting or bringing together different parts para maka-form as a whole. So, when we talk about naman ASEAN integration, it means that the countries in Southeast Asia are working together para maging more connected and unified sila in different areas, especially sa political, economic, and social aspects. So, integration is also seen or serves as a pathway toward unification, meaning integration helps countries para makaka-operate and depend on each other para sa shared progress and sa stability also. So, integration has a various spheres. First is ang political integration. So, political integration promotes peace and security among nations. While ang economic integration naman is ga-focus sa trade, investments, and shared prosperity. Last various spheres of integration is the social integration. So, social integration encourages cultural exchange, understanding, and also cooperation among people of different backgrounds. So, also, theorists explain that integration becomes successful if ang nation have increased their social interaction, and they also shared their goals, and they also share strong connections while ga-experience sila sang economic growth and development together. So, next, in the case of ASEAN, we can arguably trace back integration to its establishment in the 1960s, although more formally in the conceptualization of the ASEAN Visions 2020 in 1967. So in this meeting, leaders reaffirmed their commitment to Bangkok Declaration 1967 and rearticulated the aspirations of the Kuala Lumpur Declaration 1971. So it is also where they called for a more consolidated effort to forge an ASEAN community. So, sa case naman sang ASEAN niya, ang integration can be traced back to its establishment in the 1960s, where dirin na ang mga countries in Southeast Asia began working together para sa peace and cooperation. So, ang ASEAN, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nation, was formally founded in 1967 through the Bangkok Declaration, which promoted also unity, regional stability, and friendship among neighboring countries. So this commitment was strengthened also by the Kuala Lumpur Declaration in 1971, which emphasizes closer collaboration and mutual assistance. So, sang 1997 naman, the ASEAN Vision 2020 was introduced. So, the ASEAN Vision 2020 aims to build a peaceful, stable, and prosperous ASEAN community by the year 2020. So, this vision paved the way for a stronger sense of unity among ASEAN members, and also led to the development of a ASEAN Community Blueprint sa 2025, which continues to guide integration sa subong. So that's all. Thank you.
So, a milestone in the journey towards ASEAN integration was the development and adoption of the ASEAN Economic Blueprint to advance the vision of an ASEAN economic community. So, a big step for an ASEAN in becoming more united was when they created and agreed on a plan called the ASEAN Economic Blueprint. So, this plan was made to help them achieve their goal of creating an ASEAN economic community where they work together on money and business matters. So now let us move on to the AAC has the following characteristics. So first, we have the single market and production. So this includes the free flow of goods, services, investment, capital, and skilled labor, prioritizing food, agriculture, and forestry and integration sector. And next, we have the competitive economic region. So this includes the introduction of fair competition policy, consumer protection, intellectual property rights, infrastructure development, taxation, and e-commerce. And lastly, equitable economic outcomes, developing small and medium enterprises, initiative for ASEAN integration. Integration into the global economy, maintaining ASEAN's centrally participation in global supply methods. So the blueprint characteristics the ASEAN's community as follows. So first we have the sustainable. So sustainable environment, landscapes, climate, and economics. So resilient, reducing vulnerabilities among marginalized sectors, disaster resilience, and preparedness for health emergency and hazards. Dynamic, adaptive, innovative, and creative. So ASEAN does not only want economic cooperation, but also the establishment of an ASEAN socio-cultural community. In 2017, a blueprint was adopted during the 27th ASEAN Summit in Malaysia. So the blueprint characterized the ASEAN community as full out. So empowering the people by engaging stakeholders and people's participation. Inclusive provides access to all and upholds human rights.
Now let's proceed to the another characteristics of the Asian Economic Community, which is the equitable economic outcomes. This term, equitable economic outcomes, essentially means making sure that everyone benefits from the economic growth, not just the big cities or the large corporation. What it means is about the fairness of sharing the wealth. The initiatives developing small and medium enterprises are the backbone of the most Asian economies. They are the large shops, small factories, and tech startups. So the goal is to give these smaller businesses the tools, the training, and the financing they need to grow and compete across the borders. The other characteristic is the integration into the global economy. This goal is about how Asia deals with the rest of the world, the US, China, Europe, and so on. So it means it ensures Asia is a powerful and unified player on the global stage, not just the 10 separate small countries. So, maintaining Asian centrality, this means that when global powers or the organization talks about the Asian Pacific region, Asia must be at the center of the discussion. It wants to lead the dialogue on regional issues and ensure its member voices are heard. ASEAN does not only want economic cooperation, but also the establishment of an Asian socio-cultural community. In 2017, a blueprint was adopted during the 27th Asian Summit in Malaysia. So participation in global supply networks, this is about ASEAN being a key part of the global manufacturing and trade processes. For example, if a smartphone is assembled in Vietnam, uses parts from Malaysia, and is designed in the US, ASEAN is part of the global supply network. The goal is to make ASEAN an indispensable hub for global trade and production. The blueprint characteristic of Asian community as follows: empowering two peoples, engaging stakeholders and people participation. So, empowering people, this is about giving the citizens a voice and a role in the decision making process. So, it means that the Asian community isn't just about the governments and the officials, if it is for everyone. Next is the inclusive, provide access to all and upholds human rights. Inclusive means accessible to all without exception. The benefits of the Asian community must reach everyone, especially those who are often marginalized or overlooked, like people in the rural areas, those with disabilities or ethnic minorities. It is also explicitly committed to upholding human rights for all the citizens in the region. Next is the sustainable. This characteristic addresses the future and the environment. It's about the long-term planning. The ASCC aims for a balance where economic growth does not destroy the environment. This includes protecting the landscape and forest, managing climate change impacts, and ensuring the economies themselves are stable and last for the future generation. The fourth one is resilient, reducing vulnerabilities among marginalized sectors, disaster resilience, and preparedness for health emergency and hazards. So resilient means being tough and able to bounce back from the crisis. This is about being prepared for the worst. It includes reducing vulnerabilities among the protest and most disadvantaged citizens who are often hit hardest by a crisis. Most importantly, it focuses on disaster resilience and preparedness for health emergency. Lesson learned from events like the 2004 tsunami or the recent pandemic so that Asian can act quickly and together with a crisis hits. And lastly, the dynamic, adaptive, innovative, and creative. Dynamic, finally, a dynamic community is one that is always learning, changing, and improving. A dynamic community is adaptive, innovative, and creative. It doesn't rely on old ways of doing things. That would be all.